What's up, guys, and welcome to the kickoff of the 911 Roll On Fitness and Recovery series. Today is your indoctrination day. We're going to get started with a little bit of an overview about what we're doing, and then we're going to jump into today's first workout. So I'm really excited to share this with you. This is going to be an evolution. This is going to be something that we work really slowly through so that you get the most value out of this, you learn the most, and are able to be sort of the captain of your own ship. You're not going to need a trainer. You're not going to need to spend a whole bunch of money on a gym membership. You can do most of this stuff at home if you've got some equipment. And if you don't, you can go to Planet Fitness and accomplish most of this stuff. So we will mention some supplementation. We will mention some products that are beneficial to you. But by no means are those a requirement. They're just suggestions. We're so excited that you're here. And let's just jump in. Design these iterations to be long enough to provide incredible value, but short enough to not railroad your entire day. So all aspects of the series are based on scientific methods employed by expert trainers and also vetted by lifetime achievers in the space. So this is not something that's sort of off the cuff. This is very, very good information, institutionalized information. So without further delay, let's get into it. So the most important thing is proper sequencing. When we get into this, proper sequencing, what does that mean? So proper sequencing means order of operations. What do you do first? So one of the things that I see most people get wrong is their order of operations when it comes to what they do when they get to the gym or what they do when they're getting started working out. So when we kick things off, we don't want to stretch, then warm up, then work out. We don't want to stretch, then work out. What we actually want to do is get our bodies warm first, then move into stretching, then move into our workout. Why is this important? Well, all too often people get this wrong. Warm up is really just about elevating your heart rate to a point where your body's extremities, tissues, and organs are primed to execute against the demand that you're going to place on it. It's really, really, really important to get the order of operations right. So don't mistakenly choose a stretch prior to your warm up. This is bad. It's really bad. And it's bad because stretching cold muscles is almost a surefire way to get injured or create little micro tears. Or even more so, we start teaching the body the wrong adaptations because muscles are cold. Maybe our right leg is tighter than our left leg, or maybe the inside of our thigh is tighter than the outside of our thigh. And this may be getting into a little bit more detail than you're aware of. Don't worry about it right now. The point is that don't stretch a cold muscle because you can create an injury or you can create a muscle imbalance. A muscle imbalance will come back to haunt you in the form of an injury or in a plateau or in a manner of cramping or growth in areas that you didn't intend for growth to occur. So really, really important here to understand this. Now, our muscles and tissues are most notably the fascia, and we'll get to that in a second, but most of our body is elastic. Obviously our organs and things like that are not meant to be elastic, but our muscles and our tissues that support our movement and things of that nature are very elastic and are intended to be. And as that elasticity increases, so does the circulation in our body of the blood, the oxygenation of our blood, and the temperature of our bodies. So our goal with the warm up should be very simple and not exceed about 6-10 minutes. Otherwise, you're going to start to deplete the energy that you intended to use in your workout. So 6 minutes is what I typically will stick with, regardless of what it is. If it's an upper body day, I'll usually do an arm bike to warm up the shoulders, and then I'll do some exercises that I'll share with you over the next couple of weeks that really prevent injury and help me have success a lot faster than a lot of other people see success. And remember, guys, this is not about how much work you're doing. It's about what work you're doing. You got to be smarter about this. You cannot cut corners, but at the same time, working smarter, not harder, is actually a way that we can accomplish this. So in each iteration of this series, we'll break down each step with simple bullet points that you can follow, jot down, or plug into your phone or mobile device for quick reference. We call these coaches notes, and you'll find them at the end of every section. So, to summarize for you, the warm-up, target heart rate of 130 to 140 beats per minute, sustained for about 4 to 6 minutes. Try to keep that warm-up specific to the muscle groups being trained. But also don't include any resistance training in your workout. We really want this to be low impact, low energy. 130 beats per minute is not difficult to achieve. Some of you may get on a treadmill and immediately shoot up to 160. So we don't want that. We don't want to make this a workout. This is a warm up. So you want to push ourselves, but not too much. So that's that. Let's jump into stretch. So our topics today are going to be warm up, stretch, workout. So let's jump into stretch. It almost seems like stretching is the lost art. Like I very rarely see anybody at the gym stretch, and it blows my mind because I wonder, and it's also interesting because you see these people at the gym. If you're a regular, gym warrior, you see these people who come in and out of the gym. They'll show up for a couple of days and then they're gone for a couple of days, or they'll come for a couple of weeks and then they're gone for a couple of weeks. And usually, people assume, oh, they must have gotten a busy life. 9 times out of 10, it's usually some kind of nagging injury, something that they didn't do correctly, and because of that, they're on the sidelines. So again, this is all built to help you guys keep integrity into your bodies and not lose time, because the biggest killer of gains and progress and things like that are inconsistency. It's not anything else. You have to be consistent with this, otherwise it's not going to work. So stretching, the importance of it can't really be understated. Some of the benefits include blood flow flexibility, elevated metabolism, increased feeling of overall well-being, and most importantly, the prevention of injury and muscle imbalances. So first things first, don't ever perform a stretch on a cold muscle. It just is not a good idea. Like I said before, stretching a cold muscle is a good way to get injured. But following your warm up, you should stretch the muscles you'll be using in that workout, but that's not where it ends. When we train, we're either working towards or making use of proper alignment of our 3 major systems of the body. Those are the skeletal system, the nervous system, and the muscular system. So together, they form what's called the kinetic chain. And the better optimized and integrated that kinetic chain is, the less likely you are to get injured, the more likely you are to see changes in your body composition as you're desiring, and see the progress at a faster rate. An optimized kinetic chain in one individual can achieve things faster, more efficiently, and more long lasting than somebody that's not concerned with it. By and large, you take care of these things scientifically, you will be better off. So, based on that, we want optimal integration of that kinetic chain. So the training that you're going to be getting, the stretching that you're going to be getting, the tips and tricks, the stuff that we're going to provide are intended to help you build a solid foundation and move from that foundation into the framework, and the wrapping, the siding, the bricking, whatever you call it, and the finishing of this house that you're going to build and defend. So there are several types of stretching. Some may transcend what your impression of stretching actually is. A lot of people think a stretch is simply, the lengthening of a muscle prior to using it, which it is, don't get me wrong, but it's much, much more than that. So another aspect of stretching is what's called self-myofascial release. Now, some of you may have heard of this. Some of you may use it. Some of you probably have never heard of it. So for those of you who don't know what it is, you're talking about a set of tissues. Think of like a clear protective tissue that runs the length of your body. So from your head all the way to your toes, this stuff is wrapped around your muscles to ensure that your muscles don't fall out of place, they don't get tangled up, that they don't rip, or just in other words, it keeps them intact, it keeps them in place, and that's that. Let's just leave it at that simplicity. So what happens is, as we train, and a lot of this can come on when you're not warming up correctly, or you're not doing the things that you're supposed to be doing prior to getting started. So essentially, self-myofascial release is necessary when the fascia that runs the length of your body becomes tangled. When that fascia becomes tangled, you're not able to move the same way you're supposed to move. That fascia tangle actually involves the muscle, tightens it up, pulls on it. So I've seen instances where people have lower back pain, but the pain is actually felt up here, or in the lower traps in the back, or even up in the traps of the neck. You're just shooting pain in your neck. The first place you should start looking is all the way down. So that fascia can affect you. You can have a tight calf that puts a knot in your lower traps. It's literally possible, and I know it sounds crazy, but it's not. It's absolutely not. The fact that our bodies are connected by that kinetic chain should tell you that it's absolutely possible for those things to happen. So I can't stress it enough. Self myofascial release is just incredible. So what is it, right? Self myofascial release. Obviously, this refers to releasing the fascia yourself, right? Very, very simple. So how do we do it, right? Uh, Usually, as it was taught in NASM originally, you would get a foam roll. You would lay on that foam roll, wherever the pain is, right? Let's just say that the outside of your thigh, right? So we would lay on our sides. We would, basically in almost a plank position. We'd prop ourselves up, and we would roll our thigh down that foam roll until such time we found the tender spot. Once we found that tender spot, we know without a doubt that that is a tangled piece of fascia. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop. We're not going to roll it out like we're trying to get lactic acid. We're going to roll it on. We're going to stop, and we're going to wait anywhere from 30 seconds to 60 seconds. You will know when it's done because you will literally feel muscle slide back into place. It's the craziest, eeriest feeling, but it will make you feel amazing, and furthermore, will completely alleviate muscle imbalances over time. Furthermore, self-myofascial release is known to turn off the dominant nerve in that equation. What that means, very, very simply, is that if we can effectively turn off a nerve that is firing on the wrong, let's say that you're doing a squat, and let's say that the primary movers of the squat are going to be your glutes, your quads, a little bit of your hammies. You're going to be driving your heels down. You're going to be engaging your calves. You're going to be engaging your core throughout the whole movement. Now, let's say that your quads are firing more than your hamstrings. This becomes problematic because people can grow their quads really, really fast, but their hamstrings are lagging behind, and it starts to create a muscle imbalance. So, or the outside of the quad is firing more than the inside of the quad. There's a whole, the options are limitless. But if we go and apply that self-myofascial release to the outside of the thigh, what that gives us is the ability to turn that off and allow that primary muscle that's supposed to be firing to fire. So if we could have a muscle that's getting so big because it's imbalanced and it's trying to compensate for a primary mover. So what we want to do is we want to turn off the thing that's getting in the way of that so that we can build that muscle up and have the proper balance. Now, understand for a second, it is not easy to build muscle, and it is very, very difficult to get your body fat down. So let's not try to get too far ahead of ourselves. This is very, very simple. All we're trying to do right here is understand that we can turn off that fascia and we can get our bodies back to a state in which we're not prone to injury, in which we can exert more force, more effort, and have a more productive workout. So, ultimately, self-myofascial release is just impossible to overlook. But without understanding that it's kind of painful would be doing you a disservice. So self-myofascial release in itself on a foam roll can be pretty uncomfortable. Holding that position for 30 to 60 seconds, there may be a lot of yelling involved. So what we recommend is before you get started, anytime you're going to do myofascial release, or anytime you're going to go get a massage. This is great. I do this all the time when I go get massages, and it's like I can go in and find the biggest, baddest person in the massage parlor and say, "Hey, look, I want you to just get into me, just give me hell." But that's because I need to put this on. I take this with me to the massage therapist, and I just say, "Hey, would you mind putting this on before you go do your massage?" And oftentimes, they love it. Actually, I've never had anybody say no. But what masseuses love about it is by the time they're done putting it on you and rubbing it in, their hands are also numb. So they can just go to town forever and it never hurts. So you're getting, honestly, like a better quality massage by using this as a part of it. So anyway, so we will rely a little less on the conventional stretch to lengthen muscles, but we will spend ample time on conventional methods. But the goal here is really just expand your knowledge base and help you grow in both your body and your mind. That includes knowledge. So we're also going to focus a good amount of time on self-myofascial release. And don't worry if you don't understand right now. We're going to be doing all kinds of videos. So we're going to be doing videos for the workouts. we're doing videos for the stretches, the recovery stuff, all of it. So if you don't understand it yet, you're welcome to ask questions. You're welcome to engage here. It looks like we actually might have one. Thank you, Diana. I really appreciate that. So we're really just trying to program you with all the information you're going to need to move through it. So I cannot stress enough, consistency is really important with this treatment, and in this fashion, you can really significantly improve your progress and prevent plateaus. That's one thing I really love about self-myofascial release is that I very rarely ever hit plateaus. When I first started training, I hit them all the time, but that was when my exercise knowledge was very limited. That was when my knowledge of the body and movement science was very limited. That was before I ever went through personal training certifications. And so as expected, when you move through those things and you acquire knowledge, you get better at things. And over time, I've been doing this for 15 years. This is not my first rodeo. These are the important things that I've picked up. So I'm giving you guys, honestly, cheat codes. Like the stuff I'm giving you right now, you have to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on through trainers and educational series and all this stuff. And I'm just giving it to you guys for free. So please use this. It's so useful. Next. I've talked a lot about conventional stretch. I've talked about the self-myofascial release aspects of stretch. Let's talk about how we can accomplish that. So one of the things that we recommend is the PsoRite. If you're not familiar with the PsoRite, you can go to pso-rite.com. The PsoRite is a tool that was developed by an individual named Mac, who is freaking genius as far as I'm concerned. They developed these products, and we'll do another video tomorrow that explains what those are and where you can get them and all that stuff. But the PsoRite is essentially a tool that was really developed to stretch the psoas. So for those of you who aren't aware, your psoas are kind of right here above your hips, and they're muscles that really are the connectors between our upper body and our lower body. So when we're tight up here or we're tight down there, we're going to be tight in the opposite spot because that's like the centerpiece. That's the place that everything engages, right? So you'll hear all the time people talking about, oh, you need to strengthen your core, you need to do this. Yes, that's the reason you want to strengthen your core, because your core is the stabilizer for everything else. If your core is not integrated, if your core is not stabilizing your body, you're asking for it. So please, please, please make sure that you engage your core. Make sure that you understand that everything you do relies on proper posture, proper form, doing these things. You don't need to lift a ton of weight. I'm here to tell you, I don't lift heavy. I don't. And it doesn't have to be that way. I don't have to do an absurd amount of stuff either. It's about keeping your rest time to the right place, getting the quality reps in, and making sure that you're doing everything right. So that's something that we will spend time on. Again, guys, the PsoRite is so useful. The self-myofascial release paradigm, if you will, if you look at how traditional foam rolls are used to execute self-myofascial release, you're 30 to 60 seconds. With the PsoRite, you're looking at 5 to 10 seconds. So it's going to be a little bit more pain, but with 911 roll-on, you probably won't feel it, but you'll get it done a lot faster. So the things that would usually take me 20, 30 minutes on a foam roll now take me 5 to 10 minutes. I'm done quickly, which is important. All of us have a lot of stuff to do. We don't have all day to just, waste on fitness, even though for people like me, I'd love that. But, so that kind of touches on it. We're going through your warm up, we're going through your stretches, and we're going through your workout. So we've talked about the first two. Let's just get into the third. Exercise, right? That's probably why most of you are watching this. You just want a different workout, you want a different take on stuff, which is great. It's super important to pick up new knowledge all the time. It's super important to be a student of fitness. That's the only way that anybody gets any further. So exercise, we'll be observing and putting into place the standards set forth in the Optimum Performance Training Model, OPT for short, developed by the National Academy of Sports Medicine, or NASM. This model takes us through 5 essential phases of fitness: stabilization endurance, strength endurance, hypertrophy, power, and maximal strength. Stabilization endurance. Stabilization endurance is the main focus of balance and flexibility. We'll typically spend 4 weeks in every phase. We can spend more time if mastery of that phase is taking longer, but generally speaking, 4 weeks is an adequate amount to produce the right adaptations, to also produce the desired results in a short period, an efficient period of time, so that we can move on to the next one. The idea here is we're going to go through all these steps, and then we're going to go right back to the bottom and start better off than we started the time before and elevate ourselves. So we're going to be going through 5, back to 1, but we're never going to start in the same place. We're always going to start better than when we did the last time. So that's going to just level us up and level us up and level us up over and over and over again. So strength endurance, phase 2. Strength endurance is really kind of putting resistance training into an unstable environment. So whereas stabilization endurance just puts your body in an unstable environment, we're looking at standing on a Bosu ball. For those who don't know what a Bosu ball is, it's like half a medicine ball. The other side is flat. You put the medicine ball side down, and now you have a flat surface that you have to balance on. That is what I spent a lot of time with new clients in the past doing to really build up a foundation that you can't get injured from. And it builds up all those little supporting muscles. It really integrates your core with whatever movement you're performing, and does such with the exercise that you're performing. So strength endurance is an incorporation of resistance training into that. So it's one of the most difficult phases, because that's when you're really building the foundation that challenges our body to adapt. So big changes occur in this phase, but it's mostly underneath the surface. The bigger changes on the outside, as far as muscle growth, things like that, will occur in phase 3, hypertrophy, which really just translates to muscle growth. You can stay in hypertrophy anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks, but this is an important thing to bring up. You can't go into the gym and just start lifting weights and expect your muscles to grow. Let me say that again, because it's probably going to go against the grain. You can't just walk into the gym, start lifting weights, and expect to grow. Like some people, maybe from great genetics, but the vast majority of us, we got a lot of work to do. So you've got to prime your body, and you've got to send messages to your body in the right order so that it understands what to do. So we're stabilization first, strength endurance second, muscle growth third. That takes us through the proper progression that prevents us from getting hurt. That tells our body, hey, we're going to the next level, get ready. We're going to the next level, get ready. So we get through hypertrophy, we're going into power. So you see how this is going light to a little bit more, to a little bit more, to a little bit more. That's exactly the progression that's intended. Power. You probably guessed it. Power lifting. It's essentially all it is. You're going to be incorporating explosive stuff into this. So, when you're doing power cleans, or you're doing deadlifts, or all that stuff that's very, very powerful, you're also going to be doing wood chops and, medicine ball slams and stuff like that, because that's the natural progression. You've built up these muscles. Now you're ready to start using them. And then the last step, maximal strength. Maximal strength is going to measure how far you've come. You're going to look at the beginning, what you could do or couldn't do. And at the end, you're going to look back and say, damn, I've come a long way. I'm able to do this. I look better. I feel better. Let's go back and get it. So we're going to establish some things in there, like 1 rep maxes, the proper mechanics and form for it. But it'll complete our journey through the phases. And that's just, really, really, really important. So adhering to the methods in the series, you'll be equipped with the tools and resources necessary to do more than you ever have, with results that people will notice, and they will. I promise you. This is not some, far-fetched, hopeful program, okay? This is a program I've used, my clients have used, this is information that I've been given by professional bodybuilders, and there's probably a lot of people that are going to be mad at me for giving this content away, but you know what? I don't care. This is a situation. I think everybody should be healthy. I think everybody should be active. I think everybody should be in the best shape of their lives, because if you're not really even living. I suffered from a lot of gut issues over the summer and leading into the fall. I faced a lot of surgery. I faced a lot of medical issues, and, going in and out of the hospital, doing things like that, I really regained an appreciation for what I needed to do for my health. But mind you, this is kind of where we're going to hard stop and talk about some supplementation stuff. Now, I am not a big fan of over supplementing. I think that you can very quickly get really out of hand. You can spend a lot of money and really not see very, very good returns. So my philosophy is this, we're going to talk about nutrition, but I want you guys to get interested first. Too many times people say, okay, I'm going to do the gym. I'm going to do the diet. I'm going to go buy new clothes. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then a couple weeks into it, they're like, I'm not seeing what I need to see. Screw it. I'm not going to do this anymore. And I don't want you to get there. I want you to get to some challenges and get excited about knowing how to rise up and overcome them. I just want you to overcome all these obstacles that you faced in the past. So, with going off script a little bit here, if you find yourself challenged in a way that's not being covered, please reach out. The point of this series is to teach you. So if you're not getting certain amounts of information, then let us know. We'll either deal with you one on one, or we'll incorporate some follow loops back to make sure that we provide that information for everybody. So don't shy away from reaching out to us. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I want to get into the workout really quickly. So let's dive into that, and then we'll wrap up. The workout that we're starting with is not insanely difficult, but it's just going to start to prime you and challenge you a little bit. So we're going to start with a 6-minute warm up. You can do that on a stationary bike or a treadmill. You want to probably be around, if you're on a bike, whatever's comfortable. Treadmill, probably 3. We'll start with 3, the level 3 for speed. But your target is really to accomplish 130 beats per minute, as I said before. So cardio is less about intensity and more about heart rate. I got this wrong for a really long time. I would run on the treadmill for 30-40 minutes. I would try to kick my own ass on that thing, and let me tell you, like, I would leave the treadmill and I feel like my muscles had shrunk and I had gotten smaller, and the reality of it was that I didn't have enough calories in me, and my body was starting to break down muscle, and it was pulling from the stuff that I just trained 5 minutes before I got on the treadmill. It took it all away from me. So starting to dial in your nutrition is important. Again, we'll talk about that later, but 6-minute warm up, followed by 5 minutes stretching. I'll throw out the stretches that are probably most important are going to be hamstring stretch. So you can do that seated or standing up. Seated is how I prefer, because you really get a good stretch out of it. Seated hamstring stretch is just legs extended and joined. You're reaching out, you're trying to reach as far as you can, touch your toes, and you're going to hold that for 45 to 60 seconds. Most of you are not used to holding a stretch that long. But I can tell you right now, you hold a stretch that long, you will notice. Start to notice that after about 40 seconds, you have a lengthening that occurs. Now, some people would refer to that as an overstretch. I don't necessarily believe that. I'm one of the most flexible people I know. I don't get injured very often. And, that's a combination of both knowing what I'm doing, keeping proper form, but it's also, getting enough water. It's also getting enough calories before I go work out. It's also doing self-myofascial release. So it's a combination of everything. So you've got to do all this stuff. It seems like a lot, but you've got to do all this stuff to make sure that you're getting the results that you want. Now, getting back to the workout. So the next thing we're going to get into, actually, let me finish. So hamstring stretch, hurdler stretch, then a chest shoulder stretch. And that's just as simple as clasping your hands behind your back. That's going to pull your shoulders back. It's going to stretch your chest out. You're going to want to go through that. So next, you're going to want to lower back stretch. You're going to do a prone cobra. Lay on your stomach. You're going to take your arms. You're going to push up, and you're going to stretch back. That's going to stretch your abdomen, but that's also going to stretch your lats. It's going to stretch your lower traps. It's going to bring your shoulders back. It's really going to give you a good overall stretch. That stretch actually is probably one of the most comprehensive stretches in the body, with the exception of leaving the lower body out. It pretty much hits everything in your upper body, including your core. So it's a great, great, great way to warm up. Next, we're going to jump into planks. Planks are pretty simple. Here's my one thing about planks. Do it in front of a mirror to start, so that you can start getting internal and external feedback. What do you mean by that? Internal feedback is how it feels. External feedback is how it looks. You've got to have both to figure out the right way to do something. The right way to do this is that you pretend that you have a straight line going from your ears, down your back, down your butt, down your calves to your heels. Straight line all the way down. That is a proper plank. If your hips are way up in the air or way down low, you're doing it wrong. You're not getting an effective plank, and you're probably contributing some imbalances. We're going to do 3 rounds of planks, 30 seconds each. You're going to start on your left or your right side, then you'll go to the middle, then you'll go to the other side. Do not lower your body to the ground until you've completed the entire round. The key to this is stabilization. We need that core engaged for a long period of time, so that we do other things later, it stays engaged. So do not forget and do not cheat. That plank is probably the most important thing in this entire workout. 3 rounds, 30 seconds each place, a minute and a half for a full round. Do not lower your body until that minute and a half is done. Next, hip thrust. This seems silly. It's not. Lay on your back, knees in the air, feet flat on the ground. Hands, arms straight out next to you. Do not lift them up or move around or put them under your butt. Just put them on your side and leave them there. Then you're going to lift from your hips, your butt as high up in the sky as you can. Slowly, controlled. We're not, you're not humping the air. We're not trying to, get through it as fast as we can. We want to feel the contraction. We want to feel every muscle that's being recruited to do this. So hip thrust up in the air, then back down. We are going to do 5 sets of 12 reps. It seems like a lot. It's not. You'll get through it very, very quickly. But if you do it right, your core will start engaging better, your glutes will start firing, and your hamstrings will be on fire. These are all primers. Don't worry about the fact that there's no weight involved. There's not supposed to be. Next, Bosu ball squats. Now, a lot of you, if you're training at home, you may not have a Bosu ball. If you do, good on you. If you don't worry. But a Bosu ball squat, again, we talked about, it's like the half medicine ball with the flat part. You're going to stand on the flat part with the medicine ball part on the ground. It's going to be tough to balance. So I would recommend you have a stabilizing, object of some sort nearby, a stationary object that you can put your hand on if you feel like you're going to fall. You can even do it in front of a wall and just keep, your hands up like that. Just space yourself far enough from the wall that you're not going to fall back. You can fall forward and you can stop yourself. But we're going to do squats. So we're going to do 3 sets of 15. Now, you're going to notice as you lower yourself on this Bosu ball, your legs are going to shake like crazy, and that's totally normal, and it's a good thing. That's telling you that you're doing it right. So you're going to get on there, you're going to hit that, move into now, if you can't use the Bosu ball, if you don't have one, totally fine. Use a stationary object, stand on one leg, do one-legged squats. Sounds hard. With an assistance, it's not. Still, again, 15 reps each. So I encourage you, go find yourself a Bosu ball. Next, this is kind of going to be a little bit of conditioning. So we're going to do mountain climbers. For those of you who don't know what mountain climbers are, you can either Google it or you can put your hands flat on the ground, kick your legs back in push-up position, and then all you're going to do is bring one leg up to your chest and kick it back out and bring the other leg up to your chest and kick it back out like you're, running in place with your hands on the ground, climbing up the side of a mountain. We're going to go 3 rounds on that one, 60 seconds each. That's going to get you a little gassed, but don't worry, we're really going to gas you with the next one. Next one, we're going to move into sprints. Sprints are so important because they build up your cardiovascular health, and they teach your body, if you start doing all these things first, now you've kind of exhausted yourself a little bit, and then you move into the sprints. That's going to really help your endurance improve quickly. You don't realize how much anaerobic work or working out, resistance training works, and feeds your cardiovascular health. And when you're doing both, you can get leaner faster. You can become more vascular. You breathe easier. You can last longer. You can just do a whole host of things a lot better. So, for those of you who walk up a flight of stairs and start getting winded, yeah, this is going to suck a little bit, but you do this 2-3 times, you're not going to be winded when you get up the stairs anymore. You're like, damn, I like doing this. So, just bear in mind, all this stuff is going to provide benefit to you in the future. It's not a issue of will it. It will. If you do the work, you'll see the results. It's that simple. Most people are not accustomed to simply executing what they need to do. Everybody has an excuse, and they quit early. Don't be one of those people. You don't have to quit. Things are hard. This is supposed to not be easy. Getting in the best shape of your life is not an easy thing to do, which is why a lot of people don't do it. So take the time. You're important enough. You are the only one that's going to do this for yourself. So do it for yourself. That said, off my soapbox, we're going to get into a cool down, 10-minute walk, treadmill or outside, doesn't matter. And then we're going to post stretch the same way we stretch before our workout. So you're going to go back and you're going to hit the same hurdler stretches, the same hamstring stretch, all the same stuff. And lastly, if you're cramping, if you've got any tension or tender areas that immediately pop up again, get you some 911 roll on, put it on there, and stuff will be gone in a second. The next day, if you're sore, again, use more of it. You guys, this is not just something where like, oh, I have arthritis and I need help with it. This is formulated by me, for me, because I worked hard. So I needed something that could take care of it. I needed something to take to the masseuse to help take the pain away so that they could take the pain away permanently. I take it just about everywhere I go when I have kind of, I'm right now I'm training 2 a days. So I'm waking up in the morning, I'm doing my cardio, and then in, the afternoons or later in the morning, I go and do my workouts. Without this stuff, I mean, the other day, I'll tell you a quick story. The other day, I woke up in the middle of the night. It was like 2:30 a.m. and I was hurting. I had done legs 2 days before, and I had done back the day before I did legs, and shoulder the day before that, and all the soreness hit me at once. I literally woke up 2:30 in the morning, didn't fall back asleep till probably 5 a.m. When I finally just decided to get out of bed, I threw the kitchen sink at. I went to cryotherapy, which usually just completely gets rid of my pain. It got rid of my pain for about 30 minutes. Then I got a massage. Really didn't do anything else. And I was trying to throw everything else at it. I was stretching, I was going to the sauna, I was doing all this stuff. And then I remember that I made a pain relief product. I was actually talking to a partner of mine, and I said, it's funny because I forget that I make this. I forget that it's not because I don't like the product. It's just, you have something sitting around so long, you kind of forget about it. So I actually pulled it out. I put it on my lower back. I put it on my shoulders. I put it on, I think my triceps are hurt. So I put it on there, and put it on my knees and my quads and my calves. And I mean, I'm not kidding. Within 5 minutes, I felt better than all those other things, better than cryo, better than a massage, better than stretching, better than sauna. I mean, in 5 minutes, 5 minutes. So, this is not something that's a novelty item. Like it's fantastic for this purpose. So don't overlook that utility. The other thing that I use is a product called BPC 157, and it's a fantastic product. That is essentially a peptide. And we'll link some of these products a little bit later. But I take that. I also take protein powder, isolate protein powder from Pure Line Nutrition, which we'll link here in the comments. I actually take this stuff called Serial Killer Protein, and it's so good. I had a little bit of a hand in getting this there, but it's such a phenomenal product. So imagine this. Like, for those of you who love cereal, you're gonna love this. So imagine this. You have your bottom of your bowl of cereal, right? You've just eaten a bowl of, let's say, Cocoa Puffs, right? Or Cinnamon Toast Crunch. A lot of you like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So you put Cinnamon Toast Crunch in, right? And you've got, like, I don't know, 20 pieces of Cinnamon Toast Crunch left. They're all floating in it. And at that point, the milk tastes just like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And you pretty much at that point just pick the bowl up, start drinking it. Like, that's exactly what this protein's like, except it's better than milk. It's pasture fed. It's whey isolate, so you're not going to get a lot of, it's not a blend, so you're not going to get a lot of like the bubbly stuff. Like, it's very, very light. It's not heavy. But the best part about it is that it has chunks of real cereal in it, like legit Cocoa Puffs. Legit. They have, I think, three. I think it's Lucky Charms, Cocoa Puffs, and Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And I mean, goodness, they're so good. So I take that on a regular basis just because I like it. I don't know if you're a cereal person. If you're not, then maybe just stick with the regular one. But Serial Killer Protein's fantastic. And then those of you who are just getting started and want a little, pep in your stuff, you can also try the XP2G products that they have. They're really, really great fat burners, appetite suppressants, and the like. So I don't personally use those on a regular basis. I have used them in the past, and I found them to be very, very useful, not just for the workout purpose, but I will sometimes use those as a substitute for prescription focused medicine and stuff like that. It's very, very, very useful. So we're going to be doing a lot of collaboration here between So Right, Pure Line Nutrition, and 911 Roll On. So you guys just get really comfortable with that. We're going to reveal all Pure Line products to you. We're going to reveal all the So Right products to you. And obviously you're familiar with 911 Roll On, but I don't think you're familiar with the way that we're going to use it here. So I'm really excited to share that with you. That's really it for today, guys. I appreciate you tuning in. I know there's not been very many questions, but please keep the questions coming. As we build this, it'll get better. And as we get more information from you, it will get even better. So please, please, please engage with us. Follow us on social. Facebook, it's 911 Roll On. Instagram, 911 Roll On. YouTube, CBD Education by 911 or GB Innovations and 911 Roll On. Pinterest, 911 Roll On. We're literally everywhere. LinkedIn, 911 Roll On. So please follow us anywhere that you follow anyone. And stay tuned. We're going to post this video will be available on YouTube. It'll be on our Facebook pages. We'll link it and run it in the Reels and Instagram and so on and so forth. So stay tuned for our next session. Our next session will be tomorrow, but we're going to cover some recovery stuff. I'm going to do some demonstration on how to use the SoRite, how to use 911, and really just how to get the most out of your recovery. So we'll cover another workout, but we'll also go into the recovery and we'll do those things too. So stay tuned via blog, vlog, email, social, however you're receiving this, and let us know what you think. We're constantly trying to improve, and we can't do that unless you let us know. So please, please let us know how we're doing. Thank you all for joining. We really appreciate it, and we're really excited to get this thing off the ground. For those of you who are interested, we'll be sharing discount codes for SoRite, 911 Roll On, and Pure Line Nutrition in the next couple series, and we'll go from there. Thanks, Corey. I appreciate it, dude. Hoorah! By the way, looks like we got someone spamming us too, so this is fun. I'll make sure to delete those comments, and you guys can get it later. Anyway, thanks, guys. Appreciate you. All the best. And we'll see you next time. Till then, get your roll on.